Hi everyone, I'm Jamie of jamiedelainewatson.com, and this week on my YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about how to photograph family photos on the wedding day. It's a continuation of my How to Shoot a Wedding Day series, so let's get started. First of all, if you've been a wedding photographer for any length of time, you'll hear in the industry family photos getting a bit of a bad rap, that nobody likes to take them, they're kind of boring, they're often chaotic. And while some of those things honestly could be true, we can never lose sight of the fact that these images are so important to the couple. They were important to me on my wedding day, and they're important to my clients. So yes, it can be a chaotic time, and yes, it can be the same pose over and over again, but never lose sight of the fact that this is this couple's wedding day, and that's how we should be approaching every single part of the day. And I'm super passionate about that. Number one, all of the family is already at the ceremony site, so there's no need to arrange a separate meeting place at a separate meeting time. Everybody is right there. Second, it's honestly just nice to get it out of the way. If the couple didn't do a first look, we'll be leaving after the family photos for the bride and groom portraits as well as the wedding party portraits. So having those family photos done, checked off our list is really helpful. Now I mentioned lists. I don't photograph family photos without a list. It's so important. So 6 weeks before the wedding day, I send a questionnaire that asks a bunch of timeline details about the vendor team, as well as the complete list of family photos the bride and groom would like. I do include a little bit of a line in there mentioning that I am happy to take extended family photographs, but to really make sure that these images are the ones that they absolutely want on their wedding day, and just trying to minimize that amount of time. I always want to do what the client wants. Some couples, the idea of taking extended family portraits on their wedding day sounds horrific. Other couples, it is very, very important to them. So make sure your client's desires get heard and follow them as best as you can. So on this list, not only do I ask for bride's immediate family, I ask for the names of every single person that is going to be in this family photo list. This is also why I ask for it 6 weeks ahead of time and not a couple days before the wedding, because no bride wants to be doing that. When you ask in advance, this will ensure that we can get a complete list that we can check off one by one and make sure every person is in that image. I also find it very helpful to not need to call the mom and dad and the grandparents literally just by mom and dad and grandparents. It's nice to be able to use first names, and I think it adds a personal touch. When I'm dealing with a big list of family photos, sometimes I do ask that I have a photo helper. What I mean by this is I'll find somebody on the day of, whether that's a maid of honor that knows the family very well, or even a sister if she could help with the other side of the family. Of course, not her side of the family because she'll need to be in those photos. But this is somebody who can help me gather groups of people. So if I'm looking for the groom's extended family, I don't want the groom, I don't want the bride or their parents running around the venue trying to find these people, because there's images I can likely be taking of those people while we're waiting. So always send somebody who's not going to be in those images but still knows of a large group of the wedding to be helpful in that situation. The next thing you're going to want to do, and this is totally personal preference, but it's worked amazing for me, is you're going to organize the family photo list you receive back from the bride and groom from largest grouping to smallest grouping. I don't see any point in doing just the bride and groom and the bride's parents and the groom's parents and then just the sibling, and then you go all the way down the list to then all the extended family that's been waiting around. No, we're definitely going to start with the biggest list possible. So we're going to go bride's extended family, bride's immediate family, bride just with siblings, bride just with parents, and that sort of thing. And then the photo I usually have in the middle is bride and groom with both sets of parents, and then that's the last set that the bride's family will need to be in, and then we have just the groom's family stay. So one family will always be waiting about 10 or 15 minutes, but I think they understand and they can see that you're working hard. When I'm photographing family portraits after the ceremony, I'm almost always using my 35mm lens or my 50mm lens. I prefer to use the 50 for any groupings, I would say under about 6 people. But as I start to add more people to the photo, I do need to switch to my 35mm lens. In terms of where specifically we're photographing these family photos, it really does depend based on the wedding. I make that decision when I show up to the ceremony. Often I prefer to do photos right at the front altar if there's a lot of natural light in the church. Sometimes we'll do photos on the steps outside of the church in a grassy spot with nice shade outside as well. You just have to kind of get creative and work with what you have, but make sure when you're choosing a family photo location, there is room for the largest grouping. You don't want to be moving people all over every time a grouping comes. It's also nice for the consistency of the family photos. The last tip is to always be polite. I understand that as photographers, this can be a really stressful part of the day. You often have a lot of family members' cameras behind you. You often have people asking what's on the list or asking to add lists, or extended family members are coming over asking if they're in an image, and maybe the venue is trying to change over the room at the exact same time. Everything is hitting the fan right now, and I totally understand that. But we need to look like we are having a good time. And sometimes that might mean faking it for 5 minutes. I do have a good time when I shoot weddings. But sometimes that means smiling, and honestly, your attitude will follow what you make your face do. And so if you're smiling, if you're trying to remain in control and ensuring everybody that everything is gonna be okay, thanking people every single time you take a photo, thanking them for waiting, it is going to do wonders for your business and for what people feel like the experience of working with you was. Because that's another thing we can't forget. For a lot of these extended family members, this is the only interaction you will have with them on the wedding day. And so to have it be a negative one would be awful. So please, please be kind. The bride and groom appreciate your hard work, and we want to deliver awesome family photos. If you want to download my PDF guide with some more tips for photographing family photos, head to jamiedelanewatson.com/family photos. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and comment below. I look forward to hearing from you.